Karl.
Carl.
K-A-R-L, Hill.
And your profession is you're a TV producer?
I was a director.
A director.
For ESPN for many years.
ESPN.
Yeah, worked for
Of all
ESPN
places,
for many
yeah.
years. I directed live sports all over the country.
Very good.
And I just gave that up about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was probably the oldest ESPN director going out there. I just got tired of traveling.
And plus, none of the guys ever believed anything that you had to say, right? Or did they?
Well,
Did they respect you?
oh yeah,
Oh, that's good.
I would say they did. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
most of the guys. And
Well, you knew Tom Seaver, right?
I what?
Tom Seaver,
Tom
the
Seaver,
base.
the pitcher.
Yeah.
What about him?
Well, I worked for him.
Did you really?
I was a painting contractor. And my brother worked for me as the estimator.
Okay.
And one day he calls me up, and this is it's around December. It's cold in Connecticut.
Yep.
Logan, guess what? I go, what? He goes, I got a bid. I got a bid. I go, great. For how much? He goes, $7,500. For the winter, I said? He goes, well, it happened to be Tom Seaver. And I went, are you shitting me?
That's pretty.
Yeah.
pretty
I went
neat.
from there. One of the nicest guys, and I can go on and on with my story. I want to hear yours, but Nancy and Tom Seaver, the nicest people on the planet.
That's good to hear.
When he died, and
died of dementia, didn't
yeah,
he?
and he 3-time Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah.
I went up and I saw that in Cooperstown. I cried.
Yeah.
You know, he touched my life. He was he told me, or Nancy told me, that he would sign baseballs for hours afterwards.
Wow, that's good to hear. I've got a friend who's a big Mets fan, and I'll have to let her know that.
Well, on
Yeah.
top of that, Nancy and Tom didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't. He gets traded to Cincinnati.
I remember that.
Right?
I lived
And-
I grew up in West Virginia, which was where I lived was close to Cincinnati.
So what happens? She flies back home. She calls Logan. I said, "Oh, hi, Nancy. How are you?" There's a lot of touch-up to do here. I go, "Okay, that's
Yeah.
an opportunity to spend more time with her."
Yeah.
She was so much fun. She told me this story is the only story I'm going to tell you now. She said, "We went out. You know, we're in Cincinnati now." I go, "Yeah, I heard you guys moved. Yeah." Tom got drafted. Da 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 da. And she said, "We went out with Pete Rose and his wife for dinner."
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
the gambling idiot.
Oh, I know who Pete Rose is. I saw him when I was like 13. When he was a rookie. I went to Cincinnati and
Did you?
yep, sure did.
So there were some autograph seekers in the restaurant, and they were sitting up, I guess, above everybody. They started to approach the table. She said, "Logan." Pete Rose stood up and said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Right? And they said, "But Mr. Rose, we don't want your autograph. We want Tom Seaver's." And of course, Tom and Nancy were very, shocked. Now, when I was painting his house, one day I said one more story. When I was painting his house, my mother took a picture of me because I used to pitch in the Little League in Kiwanis in Darien, Connecticut.
Yeah.
I came to work one day. I said, "Tom," he goes, "What?" "We're painting his bedroom." I go, there's some competition in town." He said, "Oh yeah?"
Yeah.
I said, "Look," and I gave him a picture of myself and the article. He goes, "You know what, Logan? I've never pitched a no-hitter." And he really started to give me a hard time. I go,
Yeah.
"Sorry, Tom." Anyhow, went back to work. He had his first no-hitter when he was in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
About a couple of years. Do you know what year it was? Off the top of your head? But it was at least a couple of years after being in Cincinnati. And
Probably in the what was it, mid '70s? I don't know.
yeah, well, we painted the Seaver's house in the winter of '77. So he was drafted in the
And-
springtime.
So he was with the Reds probably in the early '80s
Okay,
because
that long, huh?
because
Oh yeah, 77,
because
80,
'75 is when the Reds won the World Series. That was the big red machine.
okay. That's right, but he wasn't out there.
But he wasn't there then. 75, 76, 77 was when Cincinnati was very good. So he probably was traded to them in the early to mid '80s. That's what my guess is.
At the time, apparently, he was the highest paid pitcher.
Yeah.
And he was getting $250,000 a year.
Yeah. It's like
That-
Pete Rose was probably making $100,000 a year or something.
Yeah, but I don't know whether or not Pete could hit Tom's ball. I don't know. The whole point is that after telling him that story and then hearing that he threw the no-hitter, I started to cry. You know, real men cry. Mm-hmm. You heard that expression? I had to go to jail one day. I never got a record of any sort. That's another story. But I heard the guys keep saying to me, real men cry. My dad used to cry at the drop of a hat when my grandmother's birthday would come up, or anything when she died. Going through the house after beating the shit out of me. And he loved me, but he didn't know how to direct that anger. You know, I was the firstborn son. My sister was the firstborn. Then I had another sister, and then 2 brothers. And they think they knew their father. I said, look, guys, you didn't know how gentle he was and how sweet he was. Oh, that's impossible. You're once again lying, Logan. No. I knew him before the alcohol rotted his... Oh, that's not true. You're once again lying. And I still have to deal with that. My older sister passed away. Nobody called me, to go to the funeral. About 7 weeks after, I went into grieving for 4 days by myself.
Yeah.
And I just, have you dealt with family dysfunction like that? Have you?
Everybody has family dysfunction.
Yeah.
I think everybody does.
And it's at different levels for different people.
Yeah, different levels. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So go on ESPN.
Yeah.
What is ESPN? Something Sports Network?
No. Entertainment and Sports Programming Network.
That's what it started out as.
Entertainment and Sports Programming Network.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Now, having been in directing in early television, we're going to call it television, ladies and gentlemen, were you familiar with television prior to you were you hired? Did they solicit you for this job, or how did the job come about?
No, it just sort of morphed. I was working in TV and public TV in West Virginia at Marshall University, where I graduated from. And
were you a good liberal?
I'm a good liberal. I'm very liberal, and unlike the rest of the people in West Virginia. And
with John Denver singing about West Virginia.
I saw John Denver.
Did you really?
Yeah, he played at the West Virginia Capitol on West Virginia Day, which was June 20th. I was probably about 19 or 20, I don't know, 21, and I bet there were 100,000 people there. Oh, there was just mobs of people.
Why did he go flying to begin with? He just loved to fly.
He just loved to fly.
But
he just didn't put enough gas in his plane.
You sat it.
That's what it was. He ran out of gas.
Do you know what kind? Was it a small Piper or something?
Something like that, I believe. Yeah.
Well, my dad, when he got out of the war, never flew again. I said, "Why, Dad? You could have made a lot of money." He goes, high class taxi cab drivers. Now, another parallel, interesting story. I get married, second marriage. My father-in-law, he went down in a P-51 in the Eastern Theater. He winds up in China. He tells me he completely shit in his pants. Mm-hmm. But he covered himself with his parachute, walked a distance, and he walked to where the Philippines were, the Filipinos. I didn't study much about the, outside of the bridge over the River Kwai, but he was so relieved.
Yep.
My dad winds up, because the P-51 Mustang had vapor problems. It was a V8. And
He flew a Mustang?
Yeah. I don't know. I never asked my father-in-law how he went down, whether he was shot down or what.
And what was he flying?
P-51 Mustang. I marry, my second wife, and her father did the same thing my dad did, but in different theaters. When they met, they never even talked about it.
Yeah.
But my father-in-law became an airline pilot, and he disguised his alcoholism, because you had to be sober every, and then he He retired at 62, and that's when they die because they get out of boredom. And I never understood. I would have a break because I was a painting contractor. I'd call him up. I go, Norm. He goes, what? Where are you, Logan? I go, I'm in Richfield. You want to play golf? Oh yeah. 9 holes, and he taught me how to play. I could never break 115 with 18 holes.
I'm the same way. But I'm like what you just said. Some people, they quit work and then they just die.
Yeah, because work isn't about money. It's about
who was the football coach that quit and died the next year? Woody Hayes.
Woody Hayes. Yeah.
He coached forever. Then he quit, or they let him go, and he died the next year.
Well, I get coached all the time by a guy who was in my sister's class. Logan, how are you doing? I go, good. I'm going through some stuff. We all go through stuff, Logan. Well, I lent your cousin $4,000 and never paid me back. I said, you think you could buy some of my books? He goes, yeah, I'll buy one. He buys one online for $25. He tells me that he, yesterday I lost $45,000, but then I got $50,000 back the next day. And I said, John, why are you telling me this? Well, you need to respect women. I go, I do. He goes, yeah, not until I met Fabio from Colombia did I ever respect women. I go, so why are you coaching me and preaching to me and trying to teach me something, John? You were in my sister's class. Do you think your sister would have ever dated me? And I go, yeah. Well, I was so shy. Well, she wasn't, but she had been rejected by the rich, powerful, snotty girls, and so she kept to herself. And nobody asked her out on a date. So she went across the line and started dating people, Italians and Jews. And my father viscerally hated Jews. Huh? You flew, you helped free them? Well, he was from Scarsdale, New York, and he was angry at the money that they had.
Yeah.
What a contradiction in terms. So my sweet sister gets rejected by this whole terrible group. And John starts telling me, well, she should have done this, she should have done that, she should have done the other thing. And then he goes, did she ever cheat on her husband? I go, yeah. He goes, I don't respect your sister, I said. You. Hang up on him. He goes, why'd you hang up on me, Logan? He calls me a couple of days later. I go, because I don't want to hear your standards. You were a drunk, you did cocaine, you're still a smoker, you can't hear, and you think I'm a great conversationalist. Will you learn to shut up? You're dictating to everybody. They're going to have a 61 first reunion in Darien. He goes, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen. But he's offered his house.
Yeah.
And I said, why are you so negative? He goes, statistically. I go, but what about the Lord? Well, I don't for sure, know if the Lord's going to be there, for me. So I don't believe in the Lord. But just in case, I go to the Catholic Church once in a while, just in case, so I don't fry in hell.
Just in case there is a Lord. Yeah.
Do you deal with things like that? I mean, if you don't have a sense of humor, especially with the atmosphere of today.
I know.
Oh man, you're lost. You'll get into fights and arguments, road rage.
The what now?
Road rage.
Oh, I
People
know.
are so angry.
They are.
And a stupid, unfortunate girl in Orlando went swimming and got half eaten by an alligator. Why would you do that?
There were signs.
Yeah. How about crocodiles? Go to Australia. They will swallow you down with one bite.
They
They're
will.
twice the size. Why don't they read? Why don't they believe anything that we tell them?
Both of those incidents last week. The croc in where was that? Down in Mexico.
There was one in Mexico.
Oh yeah,
too?
crocodile, saltwater croc,
A saltwater one. Oh,
ate somebody, and I think there were signs. In fact, I remember seeing the story. Signs with the signs with the logo, with the crocodile, and don't go out there.
They don't believe it.
Don't believe it.
My daughter has
Until
it.
they're in the mouth and they're carrying them away.
My daughter's suffering from multiple sclerosis. When COVID hit, I didn't cooperate with anything. Dad, you can't come over. Why? You don't have a mask on. Okay, should I stand 1,000 feet away? She goes, well, get on the street. And you surprised me and you didn't give me a warning. Out comes my granddaughter, one of my daughter's lecturing me. And Kate starts not mocking her, but it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Do you really understand what masks are all about?
So you didn't wear a mask?
I did, but I don't cooperate with anybody.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I got to check make sure. I have my dog is getting groomed right now, and I'm just waiting on him to get done.
I used to sell for Aflac,
yep.
and we would make more sales for groomers and veterinarians.
Veterinarians, really?
Oh yeah, because they're all independent.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any coverage,
Yeah.
and Aflac is extra coverage. But you're running around all over the place trying to sell for them, and you're not making any money because they goad you with, well, if you do this, that, and the other thing, you'll become rich. After a year, with bad computers that they had at the time. My buddy Russ Boyum, and we had so much fun. I said, but you know what? I didn't make any money. You didn't? He goes, yeah, I make $10,000, but I spent $10,000. But we had fun.
Just treading water.
Well, you can head out whenever you want. If he comes, it'd be great for you to meet him.
Oh, I'll definitely meet him. I'm going to sit and wait a while.
All right.
For my.
Yeah.
I'll wait until he shows up, and then I'll just go.
So what do you do
back here?
when you're working on your laptop there, or just copious notes or letters or
Emails.
anything? Emails.
Like I do some consulting with some schools, TV production consulting.
Well,
And,
let's exchange cell phones off the record.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is again your name.
Carl.
Carl.
K-A-R-L.
K-A-R-L. You got a last name?
Hill. H-I-L-L.
H-I-L-L. Google that and find out that we're all famous.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. I'm Robert Logan Rogers, author of Rungle in the Jungle. The cell phone number, forget it, you're not going to get it. But the song is, I met a man named Rungle. I met him in the jungle. The moon was bright. It was a Saturday night. Now, I said, hey, everybody, let's rungle to the night. And we sang Rungle in the Jungle. Bye-bye, kids. Mwah.